This is a story that needs to be told. Basically, this burial ground is the rock upon which, all of this opulence sits. You have to think about the lives that went before, that lay below. Walking amongst these buildings, this area, it has to give one pause. Tells your story is significant because stories, and I believe, they've been used to malign, as well as stories can be used to encourage and to provide support.
Misinformation is one of the greatest travesties of storytelling. If your story is told by someone else, it becomes an interpretation of your story. It is almost impossible for someone else to look from the outside and document accurately your story. The only way to put on paper and down in history the accurate information is to have the story being told by the person involved in the story.
So if we only have people telling Columbus's story, and if the point of telling Columbus's story is to make him great, then Columbus comes along and discovers something and makes something important happen in history. And that's been much of what most of us learned. Well, I now know better. I know that Columbus came along and people had built a civilization. But Columbus wanted to take control of those people and their resources, particularly their metals, and use them for himself and for others. And so that usurpation in history is what really happened. But as time passes, nobody wants to pass along to their children and children's children, oh, we're thieves, we're pirates. And that might not have been that hard for them to swallow because they were doing it. Right, and there was a material reward. But generations later, as their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren sit in classrooms, they are uneasy to learn that history. And so the history gets buttered up. Now, that buttered up history, though, is at the expense of indigenous people, First Nation people, African people, even Asian people in places where the Europeans went. So that isn't a slanted view of history. That's my willingness to pull the covers off something that's been carefully covered up.
Highlighting Success was created to recognize the contributions of African Americans to the African diaspora and the American culture. We hold an annual celebration to bring the community together in order to help foster this particular goal. Missions of this program is to provide a forum in which we can all bear witness to what is happening right around us. And, these are the people that are changing the communities, changing the way we live, the way we work, and they're right here.
So Elmont Online and Highlighting Success are institutionalized and organizational means of bringing people with different interests, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different class standings. Some are professional, some aren't, but bringing community together around things we do.
Highlighting success for me absolutely is one of the highlights of being in this community, because it shows us that we have to, in order not to repeat history, we have to know history. Highlighting Success organization has made it their duty to make sure that we do not forget. And so as a community, they are priceless. They are priceless in this community. We can't afford to lose an organization like Highlighting Success.
We also have a roundtable discussion that discusses relevant issues within the community, social, economic, political issues that are relevant to the African American community and the impact on those particular issues that makes a difference in the daily lives of the people.
Well, I think the redistricting forum, the roundtable forum, was just an essential conversation. I have a background in these issues, so, I moved up here from the South, where I had been involved in the Justice Department's defense of a congressional district before the Supreme Court, Johnson versus Miller. And so I was very much aware of the politics of race, the redistricting, minority vote dilution, all the political games that happen in sections of the country where whites have wanted to hold on to power almost by any means necessary. And when I first moved up here to Long Island, and in the first year when I took a good look around at what was happening, I remember thinking to myself, my God, if this were the South, the Justice Department would be all over this place. The kind of political influence, the political power structure here, residential segregation, school segregation. Finally, the U.S. Census Bureau said that the two most segregated counties in the entire country, and this is the United States Census Bureau, are Nassau and Suffolk counties. Well, living here, does not come as a surprise for me. So when Elmont Online and Highlighting Success said, we're going to take this issue on, and we're going to have Republicans at the table, Democrats, we're going to have people who've been immersed in campaign building for some of these political actors, we're going to have people from the media, Hugh Hamilton, we're going to have an academic here. What I respected about what happened at the roundtable was that it brought divergent perspectives together. There wasn't any one political lean, and so there were, it was standing room only in the audience. And I think what came from the audience was there were questions, there were some people with strong opinions, but it was a forum. It was the best of what an open forum should be.
We've been organizing the Black History Month celebration. 2013 will mark the 10th anniversary of this particular celebration. We've been doing this for 10 years, and the program has grown tremendously over the 10 years. At the Black History Month celebration, we select a community resident to honor their contributions. And the reason we do that is to bear witness to the lives of these individuals. They serve as inspiration to others who feel that they have no connection to anything. It gives us the ability to connect to something real, something to aspire to for ourselves. And that these people are very real. As I said, they're not just out of a history book, something that you sometimes tend to feel that is out of your own reach. But if these are people that are right next door to us, right around the corner from us, people that we can relate to, it provides more hope for the future. It gives us something each to aspire to.
If you review the history of Carter G. Woodson, you would realize that the organization Highlighting Success embodies a lot of his views and dreams, what he was looking for in people of color, to make sure that we document our own story. In essence, making sure that we are not forgotten.
Because of my participation in community activism, I received the Carter G. Woodson Award, which has elevated my professional career as a social worker, in that I was now recognized by my supervisors in a different light, as well as my family and my community. It's a prestigious award.
It gives you that sense of having accomplished something, that all of what you've done over the years has not been in vain. And even though you didn't start out doing what you're doing for fame and fortune, but you realize now that some group of people have realized that what you are doing is making a significant contribution to your community at large.
So I was very humbled to receive the award. To this day, it's in a prominent place in what I call my little trophy room, where I have awards and things like that, because I deeply respect and value Carter G. Woodson's commitment to Black people. At a key period in time when people were concerned about bread and butter and Jim Crow, Carter G. Woodson was concerned about those issues, but he understood the importance of kind of memorializing and putting in place an institutional way to talk about the evolution of the Black experience. And we call that Black history.
Not only because I live here, but I have raised my family here, and I have found over the years that if you look hard enough, you will find people who actually believe what you believe, and that if you live somewhere, you have to contribute to the maintenance and growth of that place that you live.
When I started giving back to the community, it was with the notion that my kids are going to have a much better life by my participation in the system.
Elmont's challenge, Elmont's beauty is its diversity, but in that diversity is its challenge about how do we come together as a community and organize around key issues of representation, provision of services, protection of our neighborhoods in terms of police and crime. How do we help children who are speaking French at home and English get on with children who a few doors down are speaking Spanish at home, or from El Salvador someplace, or Puerto Rico, but from someplace where they're speaking Spanish and English. Now maybe those two kids are in the same school, but maybe not. But what are the challenges of building community with that kind of difference? And so that is one of Elmont's challenges.
I was scared like that little old white lady who sees a big young black man on the same side of the street, so she crosses the road as I cross the color barriers of poetry from red blood to black ink on a white page and black to black thoughts. I remember the first time I told my elders that my name is Tragedy, and I'm from the hood, and as they misunderstood, they said, no one likes a dog. You're not intelligent enough to be a poet. Well, you're nothing more than a 2-bit hip-hop, gangbanging hip-hop thug rapper. Then years after, I stood on the stage in front of crowds of thousands and said, you can call me by my king name, Tragedy. That power kingdom hurt that made that crowd of thousands standing their feet and cheer me on. And my elders so jealous, they tried to steer me wrong. And they steered me wrong, I made a wrong turn to put me on the right path. Like 2 negatives or 2 over 1 times 1 half. You see, the math of my child consists of 1 God eternally existing in 3 persons, or 2 parents with 1 love that conceive 1 child that was sent here to change the world by changing himself. And in changing himself, he took his brain and clouds that caused pain and doubt and wring them out. Then put himself in the sunshine so that he can hang and dry and honor for his ancestors who chose to hang and die, so that I may live a better life and change the sky for the men and women with the skin color the same as I be Matthew Riley, swear to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God, cause God knows that man won't help me out. Man is out for south. I gotta refer to the government as bricks every time I feel the need to. And every time I feel the need to, I say it in the same words that mean something different. They call it repetition, cause this is about poetry. It's not about where you're from or from whence you came. All that matters is your passion for this game minus the rules. It's not about what you think you know or your so-called knowledge. Cause truth be told, the most intelligent people walking this earth never set foot on the campus of almost elite colleges. They just open their eyes to the lies that are told to you while you remain eyes closed and believe. See me? Once I found out that my school no longer gave us Columbus Day off, I totally forgot that it was even on the calendar. Cause I find it so sad that we'll honor a murderer that reflects the insides of my palms and then execute a murderer that reflects the outsides. I find it so sad that this upcoming Memorial Day will be used to celebrate people who were just here a week ago, but they made an oath to penetrate foreign borders in honor for a country that did nothing for them. I find it so sad that these little black children are being led to believe that their history started with shackles and chains instead of crowns and jewels. I find it so sad that these very little black children are being led to believe that Africans are ugly, or that they're savages, or even worse, that they themselves are not even African.
Is racism over?
You want the truth or you want the accompanying answer? No, it's not. Sadly, I can't say otherwise, but it's not. Again, if we just listen to some of the comments that came across during the last election, you will realize that it's not. As much as hard as we might work to try to remove that from our daily interactions, when you look at the big picture, it's not.